Okay, hi guys. Today it's only gonna be me who is commentating because Axel is actually playing against Greta Kapolkova. But right now I'm gonna post up a story of this because, well, yeah, I didn't send the link. So perfect. Okay, just gotta copy the link unless it's already copied. Right, I think that's correct now. So posted. So basically, Axel is going to play against Greta Kapolkova and it's Greta's final game in the Champions Chess League group. It's C, and Axel still has his game against Alexander Stremengdahl. And when that is finished, we will conclude Group C. So not too many matches left, right? They will challenge each other at 17:30. So yeah, just wait until then. Right. I should pull up the stream on my phone to see if it's working. It would be embarrassing if it's not. Right, it seems like it's working. Each other at 17:30. So yeah, just wait till then. Okay, I'm not sure what you meant there, Alexander, but sure. Right. Let's wait until they have started playing. I hope there won't be any problems with the challenging, like it was last time between Alexander and Greta. So they should be challenging each other right now, I think. But the game hasn't started yet, so... Right. Now the game has started, so we'll see. Okay, so here we go. Let me just flip the board. Greta is white and Axel is black, and we've got this Najdorf with bishop b5. I'm not sure how the line goes, but yeah, we'll see. Right, so will we see a c4? Yeah, so white is going to probably put up this Maroczy bind as like pawn structure, or perhaps something more closed. So we've got e6 from Axel, potentially hinting at developing his bishop here. Nothing special so far. So we've got d4 and this typical Maroczy bind structure. Right. So rook c8. Often an idea in this Maroczy binds is to put pressure on this c4 pawn. For example, on b3, black can already go b5 because now this knight on c3 is undefended, which is why she goes with the queen to defend. Because now on b5 you can just simply take it and you'll win a pawn. So queen c7, attacking this pawn further. Now, she's kind of under a lot of pressure because on b3, as we mentioned, b5, and you cannot take because then take here. So I'm not sure how she is going to handle this. She goes b3 anyway, so we'll see b5. It's already looking kind of problematic here. I guess she is going to have to sacrifice this pawn somehow. I guess maybe, let's say, bishop e3, opening up the square for the rook and trying to put it at the same diagonal as this queen. But still, I think this should be pretty nice for Axel. And also, Greta is thinking quite a lot here. So that's another advantage for Axel. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're supposed to put up this Marok's bind system against knight d7 in move 3. I know you usually do that after bishop d7 and then takes. So she goes bishop g5, I like that. The idea is to put the rook here, while also potentially ruining the pawn structure. But in this instance, I think Axel would be fine with that because his king is still safe in the center. Right, so rook c1. Now if takes, very risky because knight d5 and suddenly you're hitting the queen and you're hitting this one. Also, there are other ideas, let's say knight b5 or just recapture. But yeah, I would probably keep this pawn here. But still, there are some tricks. So bishop e7, defending this knight, makes a lot of sense. Now if takes, queen takes, there isn't really any discovered attack, because let's say if you go here and attacking the queen, you can simply just take the white queen, and that's just horrible for white. So I would probably maybe move this knight and plan to recapture this with a rook, let's say knight b1. And I'm not sure how Axel's going to respond to that, because yeah, it's kind of difficult defending this one. You don't really want to open up the position when your king is still in the center. But if that works, then it works, I guess, which we'll see. But yeah, the critical response here is probably knight b1. Maybe knight a4 is an idea, or even knight d1. But I think you have to open up for this rook, or else black might be able to keep this pawn. Unless you delay this move and play something else and then play it next move, because I still don't think c takes b3 is on the cards. Yeah, she goes knight b1. Now her main problem is her time. She's only got 20 seconds left, which is very problematic. Meanwhile, Axel has 2 minutes, so we'll see what happens. Queen b7, simply stepping out of the pin while attacking this one. Yeah, so she does give up this one. She kind of has to give up material, I guess. But the thing is, after queen takes, let's say queen takes now, knight takes, bishop takes e7, king takes. Maybe this king can somehow become weak. She keeps the queens on the board, which is totally sensical. You know, she wants to go rook e1 and try to attack this king. And now queen g6, bishop e3 goes back. Obviously, Axel was threatening knight e4 ideas, attacking the queen and the bishop. So now e5, and Axel seems to be coming out of his shell while Greta is panicking with very low time on the clock. Right, so we have black being a pawn up with these bishop pair, and I mean this knight isn't doing much. Black is just much better here, so I guess Axel would probably castle here. I feel like that's the easiest way to go about it. And knight bd2, obviously supporting this one and developing the knight makes a lot of sense. Knight e7, I like that. You're making room for f5, f4, let's say. And also maybe this knight wants to maneuver to c5. So g3, she wants to move this knight without having to worry of queen takes g2. But now f5 comes with f4, and this pawn is pinned, and you're attacking this one. It looks quite problematic. So bishop d2, she moved her knight to make room for the bishop. I would be kind of scared of queen g4 here. You're attacking, like you're pinning the knight to the queen, and it's attacked twice. And I mean, I guess she has knight d4 ideas. So e4, he's gonna go f3 and attack the queen. And next, maybe he'll go like this, or queen g4 is probably stronger. And is she gonna be able to? Okay, she has to sacrifice her piece, and now it's just over. She's got no time left, and 1-0 to Axel. Well played. So the next game commences, and Axel opts for a d4. So will we see 92? Okay, interesting. I wonder if he'll go for a Catalan here, or if he's gonna go for something else. Yeah, so he goes a3. Now I guess one of the moves is taken here, of course, and now I guess bishop takes. Queen takes is probably also an option. The bishop wouldn't be particularly well placed on d2, but yeah. And Axel is probably gonna have to develop it via b2. So d5, most logical move in the position. She might be hinting at knight d4 ideas. Yeah, and just developing. Of course, I'm not talking enough about the great play you won. That's true. I should do that. Magnificent victory in Gothenburg. Debatable. I remember that draw in the last game. I feel like the tournament played by Vira Gran in Gothenburg was much better, with the elephant trap against the 1500 and the many amazing victories and dramatic losses. Anyway, back to the game. So Axel has played bishop f4, just developing the bishop and planning to go e3. Obviously, white has the comfortable advantage here, having the bishop pair, and yeah, just slightly better. So how is Greta going to develop these pieces is the question. I guess one option could be to use this semi-Slav kind of setup. Obviously that would be problematic for the bishop. Another idea could be maybe to develop it via b7, but you're always gonna have to look out for c takes d5, and if you take here, suddenly c7 is hanging. Now luckily knight takes d5 would be an idea. So she goes for the semi-Slav setup. This bishop is very not good, but maybe if you go bishop b6 and then bishop a6 could be an idea, or just b6, bishop b7, and then follow up with the c5. So h3 makes sense. You want to prevent knight h5. But yeah. So what will we see now from Greta? I would b6. You always have to look out for takes, and then queen c6 though, and that could be a problem. Right. It's looking a bit uncomfortable for her. I guess she's going for this idea, which could work. She wants to keep the position closed because these bishops can become very dangerous. Okay, so it goes c5. It makes sense. He wants to go b4, b5, and black is going to try for this e5 break, but it's very difficult without the dark square bishop. So yeah, we'll see. I would maybe just... I'm not sure what I'd go for here as black, because this bishop is just dead. I like this c5 move. So queen a5, I'm not sure that achieves anything after b4. You simply have to go back. And white wanted to play b4 anyway, so It was more of a, I don't know what to do. Let's go just somewhere. So bishop d3 developing the last piece. Black is in a lot of trouble here. Maybe you want to go a6 to prevent b5, but white will simply go a4 and then b5. And there's really no way to stop that. So I guess castle first maybe, and then a4. Maybe even rook b1. Okay, g4. That's interesting as well. Wanting to go for this attack on the king side as well. Kind of an aggressive approach, but it looks strong as well. So knight f8. Okay, 95. 97. Okay, so black is very cramped here. There's a lot of problems. h4 already going for the king side attack. So will we see a bishop takes or a pawn takes? Bishop takes, you're always gonna have to look out for f6 followed by e5. I think that's a problem. So, but here you always have to look out for black maybe breaking with d4, not immediately, but in the future. So f6. She really wants this e5 break, which makes sense because it's really her only way of trying to open up her position and get out of this cramped mess. So I'm thinking about g5. You don't really want to take here, I don't think, because after takes, e5 is quite inevitable. So yeah, g5 is what I was expecting. Now, obviously, if you take, then takes and take, that would simply be suicide because this h5 is open. So she closes it with h5 herself, which I guess makes sense. It seems a bit weak, but what else is there to do? g6 makes a lot of sense. You just want to prevent black from playing g6. So now she goes d4 in desperation to get out with her queen. But I'm not sure if that is going to work. He just blocks it out with e4, which is like fair enough. 97 makes a lot of sense. You're attacking this one and you're also playing knight f6. She's actually surviving this position better than I thought she would, but yeah, this still looks very, very bad. Queen f6, you're threatening this one. So what is he gonna do? I guess bishop f7 wins material. So now it's definitely over. The question is whether Axel is gonna keep the bishop, because there's no way of saving the material anyway. Now, finally, this bishop is alive, but it's too late, and yeah. But still, I mean, if you take this one, queen takes, it's very difficult defending this one. You're gonna have to go rook g1. Okay, now she just blundered a piece. Okay, that's unfortunate. In time pressure, so yeah. Right, so now Greta is white again. Will we see another e4? Right, so now Axel goes for e5. He plays both this Najdorf and e4, e5. So she goes for a Vienna, I guess. Knight f3, 4 knights. Now I guess d4 is the main move. Bishop b5 is also a move. There's a lot of options here. Knight d4 is one. Taking here is not maybe the best move. I guess it's possible, but you don't really want to be that greedy. I don't think. But also I don't play this variation, so who am I to, like, what do I know? So she takes on d4. I guess that makes sense, but also you're losing e4, e5. Okay, whoa. Takes, so takes. I guess maybe queen takes. I don't think you really want to take this one, because then white gets a free development. You're gonna have to look out for these ideas, but it's fine because you can always return or go with the queen and defend. I mean, I'd be fine to be white here. c6 makes sense. You want to go d5 while threatening the bishop. Bishop d3, the most logical square. So now d5, preparing to develop this one somewhere. I'm not sure where, but somewhere. And now I guess castle is the most logical move. Preparing rook e1. Yeah, I mean, I agree with whoever Hinko is. Smooth Pie is the greatest opening to ever exist. Oh, right, why not Danish Gambit? Yeah, it was quite impressive when you played that against Greta last game. It was a very... Oh, h4, I like that. Queen is kind of misplaced. But it is a bishop g5. Right, so h6, the most logical move, preventing white's idea of bishop g5. The question is, do you want to castle now? Because now h4 is hanging. So I guess the most logical move would be g3, just defending it. Or maybe you want to go for a long castle like she does. Bishop d2. And it might be a bit scary for black to go for a short castle, so long castle is also an option. But bishop d6 allows both opportunities, either short castle or long castle. He goes for long castle, the safer approach, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, what will we see now? Maybe just... Still maybe some expansion over on the king's side, or will we just see a slow positional battle? Bishop b3, you're threatening a7. I guess king b8 would be the most logical move here, simply defending it and getting the king to a safer spot. Another idea could be to just exchange dark square bishops. I'm not sure who that would benefit though, because yeah, white also has this idea of playing bishop d4, attacking the queen while also exerting pressure on g7. So black goes c5 to prevent both of these ideas. And that makes a lot of sense, I guess. Right, so what will we see now? One idea from black could possibly to play d4 in the future, although that would probably be fine now for white because you simply take and go back. But still, what will we see? Right. f3 makes sense, you're giving some room for the bishop here while also preparing g4. I like that. I'm not sure what I would do here as black. I guess develop the rook. c4. Oh, right. I totally missed that. Wow. Oh, that's a problem. Is there any way to get out of this? It's trapped. I don't think there's any way now. I guess I would probably just take this one and hope for some miraculous compensation, because this king is kind of weak. Yeah, she does. And now takes, I'm not sure, maybe rook, maybe queen. She takes with a rook, which makes sense, I guess. She wants to bring the rook to the attack, like this. But it's kind of difficult with this pawn in the way. So we'll see. Okay, so bishop f5 attacking the rook. I guess this would be a logical move, still with this idea of moving over to the king side somehow. Also, if you would have taken on d5, obviously you have to look out for bishop f4 attacking the rook and with a check. Okay, so I was disconnected, that's a problem. Let me just fresh, right. So we've got rook e8, he's attacking the queen. I will probably just move over here and hope for something. She does. I mean, it's looking a bit scary, I guess, but not too much. There might be some tricks. Queen e7 makes sense, you're just defending over here. But now this rook, where are you gonna go with it? Are you gonna go bishop c7 maybe? I guess rook d7 you always have to look out for. I mean, rook takes d5, I guess, and yeah. So bishop c7 I feel like is the most logical move. But then on bishop c5, what do you do? Because you can't go back, because then bishop b6 is just a repetition. Also, these moves are kind of interesting. Actually, I feel like she's gotten a bit too much compensation than what Axel expected. Another defensive idea for black could possibly be just to sacrifice the rook, but I feel like there should be something much better here. So bishop c7, rook d7, I guess that makes sense as well. I would probably opt for... Okay, but now... Okay, bishop f4 you simply just take, so it's fine. But maybe queen e3... No, there's checkmate, yeah. I think he could have gone queen... Oh no, wait, the bishop was defending. Okay, right. Anyway. So Axel wins that. Deserved. And now Axel is white. He goes for d4. Will we see another... Okay, so she plays the Dutch, and he's going for like a Catalan system against this. We got knight f3, bishop g7, knight c3, queen b3 I think is the move. Rook e1 is also playable. I guess I'm not sure what to play here as black. Queen e8 might be a move, but you don't really want it. That's the same file as this. No, actually I think it might be 94, just preventing e4. Yeah, might be the idea. 94, I guess queen c2 is the move, because that forces this. Well, I'm not sure really. I guess knight e7 is the move, just allowing this. So she goes 94. I would probably not take this one. I'd rather just go queen c2 and attack this one, forcing black to react and take this. Yeah, he does. This looks quite comfortable for white, I think. And now after takes, I think takes with a pawn would be most accurate. Open up this b file while also preparing e4. I mean, queen takes also makes sense, but he takes with the pawn. Now e5, I would probably go for e4 now. But that is very risky because after takes, I mean, bishop f5 develops with a tempo. I like this opening for black whenever, like in blitz, because it's quite weird to play as white, I don't know. Which is why I often tend to opt playing like knight c3, move 2 or e4. But yeah, so I guess this usually you go f4, right? Or you take, but she goes for f4. c5, I think that's strong, yeah. Right, so what is she going to do now? Bishop g4, that makes a lot of sense. You're threatening to capture here. So queen b3 would check, attacks b7. Ooh, that's a problem. I guess rook f7, there's not knight g5 because you're defending that, but king h8 also makes sense. Now this, you always have to look out for this, because after takes, maybe there's ideas to trap the queen like this, and also obviously this one's hanging, so I'm not sure how white Axel is going to respond here. He'd want to go knight g5, but that's simply not working because queen takes. So yeah, maybe he'll go this way. He takes immediately. I guess that's also an option. It's kind of risky though, because after takes, you might have ideas to take here and then they go queen g5, but I guess that should be fine for white after king h1, because there's really no attacking pieces for black anymore. But yeah, you're also... there's also ideas of taking here, exactly, and then taking on d4. So she takes on f4 instead. The problem with that, I think, is that you might as well have just taken there immediately. But you also had the option to take, and then take like this. Now b7 is hanging. I'm not sure if you can take this one, because queen c7 and then knight here, but you know, you can take this one in that case. So we'll see. Queen g5, I guess that makes sense. King h1, rook g1 is next. Where's this knight going? It can't really go anywhere because knight e7 you simply just take. So that's a problem. Okay, so she's a piece down. I think this is going to be over. She goes here. She wants to put pressure on h2, but there's really no other piece that can go and attack there. I mean, if she was magically able to go like this without this pawn and bishop preventing it, I mean, maybe she would have some chances, but that's just not the case right now. Still, there is some pressure on this one. I mean, if you manage to take here, maybe you can somehow get some sort of attack. I don't know. So we got queen g4. Most logical move here. You want to exchange queens because you're a piece up. So will we see queen back or queen back? Or e5. Now this one's up. This one open up. Yeah, this just looks over. Right. So it seems like white is actually the one with a positional advantage, even though he is a full piece up. So it's time to resign, I think. Right. So white has won, and now Axel can be decisive by either drawing or winning the match. Right. So will Greta go for e4 once again? Right, so I guess c5 is an idea. Or he's going for a French. Yeah, seems like that. He used to play this a lot back when he was younger. Bishop b4, that's typical move he plays. e5, you got c5, I'm pretty sure. I remember he used to take here, take, and then play c4 back in the day, then queen a5, queen a4. But now, I think it changed it actually to go for this exact line. We had this position a few times actually. Now the line is takes, takes, queen takes, and then pawn takes knight e2. I think knight c6, f4. Was it? I think, no, he didn't take. Or did he? I think it took queen d3 and then d4. And then in a game I took here, but that's apparently bad. So she goes queen d3 immediately. I'm not sure if this transposes or if this is actually a mistake. You might run into this. So queen a5, knight e2. Yeah, so this was kind of what I was talking about. Queen takes c3 would force a queen exchange, but black is no longer a pawn down. So this would be fine for white. For black. And now I guess takes because you... No, wait, I'm just kidding. I thought you were threatening this one, but it's defended. So you don't actually have to exchange queens here. Although that might be the best idea considering the pawns and... black's king is in the middle, but no, he defends it. I mean, I guess that makes more sense because you are still exchanging, but you're developing a piece as well. Now the problem for black is this h-pawn. If it manages to march all its way down here, I mean, that's a problem. So I would probably consider this. The problem is that, let's say bishop b2, attacking and developing, knight c4, I mean, it looks very dangerous. What about bishop e2 immediately? And then if it takes, you might even take with a knight. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess white's going to put up this structure and then try to go with this one. Maybe put the bishop on d3. I mean, white's probably fine here. But yeah, I don't think you're supposed to take here. Better would probably be to go either here or bishop f4. Force the trade that way. Yeah, so bishop b2. I like that. d4. Yeah, of course that's an option because you can't take with the knight because it's pinned. So now she's gonna have to go, let's say, queen d3. But you're still kind of threatening to take here, so it's not that easy. So queen d3, I guess you're gonna defend with knight f5. Long castle would be interesting. You're threatening this one with both the knight and the rook. So queen a5. Yeah, that's logical as well. You're checking. And on c3, I'm not sure what he's gonna do on c3 actually. I mean, I guess he's just gonna take. Unless he's gonna go e5. But yeah, e5 makes sense. You're developing this one, preparing bishop f5. King d1. That's also logical. I mean, you're probably not gonna castle anyway, and if you do, the king isn't much safer on c1. So yeah, e5 as I mentioned, preparing bishop f5 and just defending this one. Kind of a problem here. That's kind of a problem here for white. One way to prevent this could be knight g3. And then you're also opening up this one. f3, you are allowing this, but I guess that's fine. Just go back to d2 and exchange of these ones. I mean, that's probably beneficial for white. And then you're preparing g4 as well. So yeah, queen d2 is pretty much forced, I think. Unless you want to go queen b3. But that's a bit risky. So queen d2. I guess black doesn't wanna. This makes sense. And then rook b1 is what I would probably play here. Just defending and also putting the rook on the same file as the queen. With ideas of just king c1, bishop c1. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Now there's this and this. That's a problem. g4, knight e3. King e1 is forced, but then knight c2, king here, and d3. And if you go back, I mean, d3, yeah, this looks pretty horrible. This one's gonna be hanging. It's a check. If you move here, your opponent's even pinned. So she resigns, and Axel did win now. So, well played by them. Let's see if I can ask them some questions. Hi guys, well played.
Hello.
Hi. So, what did you think about the game? The match?
I thought it was. I thought I played well. I thought there were some moments where perhaps I was gifted a little bit of a victory. I thought there was one game where I was like a piece up, and then I screwed up, and then she blundered mate in one.
Oh yeah, right.
But yeah, I think it's pretty even, and then I got some opportunities gifted to me, I suppose.
Yeah, right. So what else? Axel, you've only got one match left in the group stage. What's your prediction against Alexander? I think he's watching.
Well, I haven't had the best of results against him recently, so I'm very excited to crush him in that one.
Right. And Greta, you're done with your group stage. How has it been so far for you?
Well, I've made a lot of blunders, so I don't really play these types of games, but I'm really grateful that I had an opportunity to even play here, so thank you.
Yeah. So I think that's that. So thank you guys for playing, and I'm gonna end the stream now. So right,
Thank you.
Thank you, bye.
bye.